Good day, everyone. So, we are the Group 3, and our topic is Rationale and Basis for Ethics in Tourism and Hospitality. The context are the phase 1 is the introduction, second is the member, 3 is the laws, and 4 is for conclusion. So, we are the Group 3. The members of the Group 3 is Miss Almendras Katrina, Mr. Benaventura Regachuelo, Miss Cortez Catherine, Miss Manzanilla Cruzel, Miss Pondano Karen, and Miss Oreya Hana. Introduction: Ethics and Ethical Behavior in the Tourism and Hospitality Industry. International laws, codes, treaties, and agreements between and among countries or states. Jurisprudence and legal bases recognized by the country or state. Religious, social, cultural, and moral bases pertinent to the belief system and cultural norms of a particular country or religion. Numerous international laws, codes, treaties, and agreements. The Universal Declaration of Human Rights by the United Nations General Assembly in 1948 is a milestone document that set our fundamental human rights to be universally protected as contained in 30 articles 115. In the Philippines, many laws have been passed that impact tourists. Some of their laws are relevant specifically to the industry's various sectors like transportation, travel trade, hospitality, events management, labor, business, and academe. Here are some of prominent laws in the Philippines that have also helped shape ethics in the tourism industry.
Philippine Constitution. The most recent Philippine Constitution is the 1987 Philippine Constitution. It is established to represent democracy with power divided among three separate and independent branches of government: the executive, a bicameral legislature, and the judiciary. It is a long constitution, but Article 12 of the 1987 Philippine Constitution is all about national economy and patrimony. They give protect to our natural resources, which is good for the tourism industry. We will have more tourist attraction, which will cause to a healthy tourism industry in our country. Civil Code of the Philippines. The Civil Code of the Philippines is the product of codification of private law in the Philippines. It is general law that governs family and property relations in the Philippines. Chapter 2 of the Civil Code of the Philippines is known to be about human relationships. It prioritizes the rights of the employees, like tour guides. Because of that, students become more interested in this industry and take courses related to tourism. Corporation Code of the Philippines. A Corporation Code of the Philippines is an artificial being created by operation of law, having the right of succession and the powers, attributes, and properties expressly authorized by law, or incidental to its existence. It helps businesses related to tourism have good relationships with other business owners. It makes the tourism industry more productive with the cooperation of different industries and fields. Tourism Act of 2009. Republic Act 9592. An act declaring a national policy for tourism as an engine of investment, employment, growth, and national development, and strengthening the Department of Tourism and its attached agency to effectively and efficiently implement that policy and appropriating funds therefore. Given a bigger jet engine to make our tourism industry very globally competitive, as the law allows the setting up of a system of accreditation, standard setting, and clarification to make the tourism industry globally competitive. Tourism Infrastructure and Enterprise Zone Authority Law, Republic Act 11262. Tourism Infrastructure and Enterprise Zone Authority, TIEZA. Main tasks include building tourism infrastructure, destination, regulation, and supervision of tourism enterprise zones. Test. Operation and management of TIEZA assets and the collection of the Philippine travel tax. It prioritizes the taxation during tourism activities. Tourism industry is not tax-free, and it helps the government to earn taxes that can be used to our country expenses. Anti-Money Laundering Law, Republic Act 9160. Anti-Money Laundering AML regulation required financial institutions to develop sophisticated customer due diligence plans to assess money laundering risks and detect suspicious transactions. It is great help to the tourism industry because all the funds from the government are being distributed according to the law, which helps to develop the tourism industry in our country. Omnibus Investment Code of 1987, Executive Order Number 226. The Omnibus Investment Code of 1987, as amended, integrates the basic law of investment, clarifying and harmonizing their provisions to encourage and guide domestic and foreign investors. It helped the tourism industry in our country become more known all over the world. The more investors, the better the tourism industry in our country will be. This will result in more tourists visiting in our country. Anti-Drunk and Drug Driving Act of 2013, Republic Act 10586. The Anti-Drunk and Drug Driving Act of 2013 is an act penalizing persons driving under the influence of alcohol, dangerous drugs, and similar substance, and for other purposes. It helps the tourism industry to have responsible tourists. Tourist guides are not just one who need to be responsible, but also the tourists. This law helps prevent accidents and adds safety for everyone.
Anti-Distracted Driving Act, Republic Act 10913. The Anti-Distracted Driving Act in the hospitality industry could include policies and procedures aimed at preventing distracted driving among employees who drive as part of their jobs. Implementing an Anti-Distracted Driving Act in the hospitality industry can help protect both employees and the public while also safeguarding a company's reputation. Revised National Internal Revenue Code, Republic Act 9337, otherwise known as the Value Added Tax Reform Law, which raised the VAT rate from the 10% to 12% after meeting certain conditions. It was implemented on November 1, 2005, while the increase in the rate took effect in February. Revised Penal Code Republic Act 3815. Revising the penal code in the hospitality industry would involve updating and specifying law and regulation related to various aspects of the industry. Example, employee rights and safety. Implementing stricter penalties for employers who violated labor laws by underpaying and mistreating their employees. This would ensure fair treatment and safety for workers. Anti-Trafficking in Person Act of 2003, Republic Act 9208. The Anti-Trafficking in Person Act of 2003, Republic Act 9208 in the Philippines aims to combat human trafficking, including its implication in the hospitality industry. Example, prevention. Hospitality establishments, such as hotels and resorts, are required to take measures to prevent human trafficking on their premises. This includes training staff to identify signs of trafficking and establishing protocols for reporting suspicious activities to law enforcement. Foreign Investments Act of 1991. The Foreign Investments Act of 1991 in the Philippines encouraged foreign investment in the hospitality industry, making it relatively accessible for foreign investors to own and operate hotels and resorts. But it is essential to navigate land ownership and regulatory requirements in accordance with the law. Access Device Act, Republic Act 8494. Republic Act 8494 is not related to an Access Device Act. Instead, it is known as the Philippine Export Development Act of 1997, which primarily focuses on promoting and developing export-oriented industries in the Philippines. Intellectual Property Code, Republic Act 8293. Republic Act 8293, also known as the Intellectual Property Code of the Philippines, covers a wide range of intellectual property rights, including patents, trademarks, copyrights, and trade secrets. Example, trademarks. Hotels and restaurants often have unique names, logos, and branding. Registering these trademarks under Republic Act 8293 helps protect their identity from unauthorized use by competitors.
The next is the Tax Reform for Acceleration and Inclusion Law, Republic Act 1096-31, or shall be known TRAIN Law. This act is to ensure the government is able to provide for the needs of those under its jurisdiction and care through the provision of better infrastructure, health, education, jobs, and social protection for the peoples. This law is to help the income tax na mapababa ang income tax ng employees na ito. Next is Expanded Senior Citizens Act of 2010. Republic Act 994, or the Expanded Senior Citizen Act of 2010, provided an array of benefits, privilege, and assistance to senior citizens, such as a 20% discount and exception from the value-added tax, or VAT, if applicable on the sale of some goods and services that benefits assistance and educational. This law is ang mga tumutulong po sa mga senior citizen na magka-discount sila sa mga katulad ng pamasahe o kaya sa mga fast food chains, sa mga goods and services. Next is the Balikbayan Law, Republic Act 9174. The Balikbayan program is instituted by Republic Act 9678, amended by the Republic Act 9174, was launched by the Philippines government to attract and encourage overseas Filipino to come and visit their motherland. Ito po yung mga citizenship sa mga ibang bansa na Filipino citizen na may 1 year na sa ibang bansa. Ano na po sila? Siya na po silang balikbayan dito po sa Pilipinas. Next is the Barangay Microbusiness Enterprises Law or Republic Act 9178, the BMBE. The BMBE Act of 2002 encouraged the formation and growth of barangay microbusiness enterprises by granting them incentive and other benefits. The act was signed into law by President Gloria Macapagal Arroyo on November 13, 2002. Itong act na to this is the act na nakakatulong sa mga maliliit na business sa barangay para hindi sila singilan ng tax or VAT sa kanilang business na maliit lang. Next is Labor Code of the Philippines. The Labor Code sets the rules for hiring and firing of private employees, the condition of work, including maximum work hours and overtime, employee benefits such as holiday pay, 13-month pay, and retirement pay, and the guideline in the organization and membership in labor unions, as well in collective bargaining. The Labor Code of the Philippines is a legal code that determines all employment practices and labor relationship in the Philippines. This is to help protect employees and employers while ensuring that neither is subject to a fair treatment and exploitation. An employee in the Philippines must work for over 8 hours a day. Ito naman po ang isinasa batas na ang mga workers ay hanggang 8 hours lang po dapat nagtatrabaho. Na kapag lumagpas na po ito ng 8 hours ay may dagdag na po itong bayad o sahod. Next is Migrant Workers and Overseas Filipino Act, Republic Act 8042. Republic Act number 8042, Migrant Workers and Overseas Filipino Act 1995, an act to institute the policies of overseas employment and establish a higher standard of protection and promotion of the welfare of migrant workers, their family and overseas in distress and for the purposes. Itong act na to ito po yung mga tumutulong sa ating mga overseas workers para po hindi sila mahirapan o ibuli sa ibang bansa. Sila po ang ating malalapitan. Next is the Republic Act 10911, otherwise known as the Anti-Age Discrimination in Employment Act, was signed into law to promote equal opportunities in employment for everyone. The act encouraged employers to their individuals on the basis of their abilities, knowledge, and skills qualification rather than their age. Itong act po na ito ay yung para po sa mga business na hindi po kinakailangan ng taon. Kagaya na lang po sa fast food chain sa Jollibee po na meron pong nagtatrabaho na service crew na maedad na at may mga kabataan pa. Kumbaga po wala pong age limit sa mga ganong trabaho. Ayun lamang po.
The Magna Carta of Women is a comprehensive law on women's rights for women that aims to end discrimination by recognizing, defending, upholding, and promoting the rights of Filipino women, particularly those who are members of the forest spheres of society. Magna Carta for Women. Ito yung batas ay para protektahan ang mga kababaihan sa Pilipinas. Magna Carta for Disabled Persons, Republic Act No. 7277, 1992. This law promotes the self-reliance, advocacy for yourself, and rehabilitation of disabled people as well as their incorporation into society. Ang batas na ito ay para tulungan sa paggaling ang may mga kapansanang Pilipino. The Philippine Constitution, also known as an Act to control and regulate the immigration of aliens into the Philippines, was approved by the Philippine Assembly on May 2, 1940. The entry and admission of foreign nationals into the Philippines is regulated under this law and any revisions to it. Ang batas na ito ay para mas higpitan ang mga taong papasok sa ating bansa. To further change and enhance the Philippine Foreign Service, which is including the establishment of the Department of Foreign Affairs, the Philippine Foreign Service Act of 1991 revised the Foreign Service Act of 1952. Ang batas na ito ay upang mas maiayos ang serbisyo sa mga banyaga. The Philippine Consumer Act, Republic Act 7394, also referred to as the Consumer Act, is a law that establishes standards of actions for businesses and industries. Ang batas na ito ay upang mapangalagaan ang mga mamimili sa mga abusadong nagbebenta ng hindi tama tulad sa presyo. Indigenous peoples have the collective right to lands, territories, and natural resources that they have historically occupied and used, as well as the collective right to their collectively held traditional knowledge. These collective rights include recognition of their unique histories, languages, identities, and cultures. Itong batas na ito upang protektahan ang mga katutubo sa mga may nais na sirain ang kanilang lugar. The National Caverns and Cave Resources Management and Protection Act 9072 is an act of legislation that wants to improve communication and cooperation between government organizations and Jews who use underground spaces and cave resources for a number of reasons, including tourism, education, recreation, and scientific research. Itong batas na ito ay para pangalagaan ang tulad ng mga kuweba sa tulong ng gobyerno. Act to promote conservation and protection of wildlife resources, Act of the Republic No. 9147, a law that provides funds for other reasons as well as the conservation and protection of wildlife resources and their ecosystems. Ang batas na ito ay para pangalagaan ang mga hayop na namumuhay sa ating kagubatan.
National Protected Area System Act 1992, the Republic Act 7586. It is an act providing for the establishment and management of National Integrated Protected Area System, defining its scope and coverage and for other purposes. The system, abbreviated NEPAS, shall encompass outstandingly remarkable areas and biologically important public lands that are habitats of rare and endangered species of plants and animals, biographic zones and related ecosystem, whether terrestrial, wetland, or marine. The next is Anti-Child Abuse Law, or the Republic Act 9231. It is an act providing for the elimination of the worst forms of child labor and affording stronger protected for the working child. So, sa Republic Act na ito, sinasabi na no child shall be deprived of formal, non-formal, or alternative learning system of education. In all cases where the child is allowed to work, the employer shall provide the child with access to at least elementary and secondary education. So, pagkilala at pagrespeto sa kung ano ang makakabuti para sa mga child worker. So, sa panukalang ito, may isang malaking hakbang upang kilalanin ang lugar ng bata sa lipunan para mabigyan sila ng sapat na atensyon para sa kanilang iba't ibang pangangailangan hanggang sila ay magkaroon na ng sapat na kakayahang mabuhay sa kanilang sarili. So, the next one is Dangerous Drugs Law or Republic Act 9165. Ito ay isang batas ng Republika ng Pilipinas na kinikilala sa tawag na Comprehensive Dangerous Drug Act of 2002. So, lalayon ng batas na ito ang mahigpit na paglaban sa pinagbabawal na gamot. The next is Philippine Clean Air Act 1999 or the Republic Act 8749. Pinatupad ito ng DENR para mabawasan ang air pollution sa bansa. Kabilang sa mga sakit na nakukuha sa maruming hangin ay ang lung cancer, stroke, pulmonary disease at pneumonia. So ito yung act ay para sa pagkakaroon ng malinis na hangin. Next is Tariff and Custom Code. Ito naman yung act na revitalize and strengthen the Bureau of Custom, amending for the purpose certain sectors of the Tariff and Custom Code of the Philippines. The next one is the Anti-Violence Against Women and Children Act or the Republic Act 9262. So, nilalayo ng batas na ito na tugunan ang laganap na pang-aabuso sa kababaihan ng kanilang mga intimate partners, kabilang ang dati or kasalukuyang asawa o mga jowa. Sa maraming pagkakataon, nadadamay din ng mga anak na babae sa pang-aabuso nila. The next is Bayanihan to Heal as One Act or Republic Act 11469. Ito yung last na Republic Act. So, isinasa batas ito noong ika-23 ng Marso noong 2020 na nagdedeklara ng isang national health emergency sa buong Pilipinas dahil sa panganib ng COVID-19. So, ayun, nagkaroon tayo ng mga frontliner, mga bayani na tinuturing natin dahil sila yung nangunguna nung may COVID-19. Sila yung parang nangunguna, yung nag-provide ng mga kailangan nating mga tao para lang maprotektahan tayo. In conclusion, religious tolerance, for instance, help people manage diversity and inculcate respect and sensitivity in the workplace, while gratitude is a positive value and is widely manifested by people when they want to return a favor to someone who helped them in the past. It can also be a deterrent to the practice of good ethics or at work. Some may see it as a form of exercising favoritism or, to some extent, even bribery. Manana habit is an undesirable Filipino trait wherein a person tends to postpone important tasks. This is a challenge if one seeks to manage his time well and attain perfect attendance and zero tardiness. Word of honor is very important to a Filipino, and his dignity is besmirched if he breaks his word or does not fulfill a promise. This is essential in cultivating integrity and trustworthiness as part of a person's reputation. Thank you po. Have a great day.